Or let's do one clap just to...
I don't have the clap. Oh. Welcome to the Casbah. In this episode, we are going to prepare, hopefully successfully, food from Morocco. I am making some lamb meatballs with a variety of Moroccan spices. George is doing a chicken tangine.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
And we've got some other couscous and
Some couscous.
interesting salad.
We recently came back from
Tangiers.
no,
Where?
from Casablanca.
Oh,
And while we were there, we stopped off at Rick's. Now, if you remember Casablanca, the movie, that was the name of the
Rick's Cafe.
Rick's Cafe. And we researched it out, and these two dishes were served to Humphrey Bogart. So these are really authentic.
Where is Rick?
I don't know. I ain't seen him all night.
So we're starting off with a pound and a quarter of ground lamb, which is found in most good supermarkets.
Yeah.
There's a variety of spices, but I'm going to start out with a spice that we had to order on the web, and it's Ras El Hanout.
Sounds like an animal.
It is, I think. Actually, I think it's a disease. Cumin, cardamom, a bit of allspice, 3 tablespoons.
Ooh, that's going to give it the flavor.
I'll put a little bit more in it.
Sure, won't hurt.
Cost me a fortune on the web. So.
Yes, it did.
Now, here's where it gets wild. It's a half a teaspoon of cayenne.
Of what?
Cayenne, red pepper.
Oh, cayenne.
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 A handful of cilantro. It's getting interesting, isn't it?
It is.
A half a teaspoon of ground ginger. Curiously enough, a lot of the recipes don't call for fresh ginger like you see in Chinese or
Right.
Thai cooking.
By the way, unless you're really as good as Paul is, don't shake from a big thing. You know, the top falls off.
Let's
You
have
know,
it once or twice. All
Well,
right?
of course it
So,
is.
two, actually I cheated. You know, George and I love garlic, so I used 3 cloves of garlic
Can't
here,
have too much
minced.
garlic. Yeah.
And this is a small red onion that has been grated. Now I
Did
did
it get
this-
an A or a B?
I used it on my hand grater. I would suggest if you have a food processor, use that. Because I was crying and weeping because of all this stuff, and I nicked one of my knuckles on the grater.
Yes, that can happen.
This is a piece of toast
Yes.
that I have soaked in milk.
So it's soggy.
It's soggy, and you want to squeeze it a bit.
Ugh.
Yeah, don't do a close-up on this one, will you?
No. Ooh.
And now the fun part, the mixing. No breadcrumbs, just that milk-soaked toast.
Milk so. I can't say that.
Say it
quickly.
fast, I know.
I can't do that quickly.
These can be grilled or sautéed like we're doing here. You want to make a couple here, George?
No.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, though. Grab those tongs and kind of make sure they're browning. That's a big one. That's a big one. Beginning to cheat. They're getting larger. If you're going to try this, it's a good idea sometimes. This is working out okay. But to chill the meat mixture for about a half an hour. You know the thing about cilantro that we talked about before?
Yeah.
Some people have a, I don't know what it is, a hormone or whatever, and it tastes like soap
To some people.
to some people.
That's sort of like asparagus has an effect on some people.
Oh.
You know that?
Are we talking bathroom habits here?
Yes. Well, I didn't say what the thing was, but people will know.
You know what I've been looking for lately? White asparagus.
You have to go to Cambridge for that.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see it very often.
No. No, Marini's does not have white asparagus. By the way, this is the last week, well, depends
What?
upon when the show airs, but this is the last week you can get asparagus at Marini's.
Yeah, but the corn's going to be coming in soon.
You bet.
This is a local sugar and butter corn that we have here in our little town.
Ooh.
And it is delish.
Now you got me wanting some corn right now.
Another thing about cilantro, it's like Gorilla Glue. I can't get it off my hands.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to cut cherry tomatoes, a few of them, in half.
Well, that looks exciting.
It is. Gets better. We also have tzatziki.
That's Greek.
Is Greek, but
Well, the Greeks
Sort of around
sailed
that
all
area.
over the
Around
world,
that
so they
area,
probably
yeah, yeah.
stopped by. Yeah, yeah.
it's
What?
going to turn down real low heat. Take it away, George.
Well, I have bone-in chicken thighs, okay? Most of the time, to be honest with you, I cook with skinless, boneless chicken thighs. But this will give a little bit better flavor. We're going to brown the skin on them. What we do without salt and pepper? Virtually
know.
every culture uses it. I was at a local restaurant the other day, and I had some clam chowder, which was very good. And I like to put ground pepper, and they had a ground pepper that was over the top. And I'm going to try to get some of that and use that at home. It just makes a difference. You're eating the meatballs. Yeah, see? That's a lot of chicken. These are big
If
chicken.
you're having 20 people over for a
Yeah,
Moroccan dinner.
yeah, sure. Look at that.
We're going to have to get that like the big TV shows where they have the signs, Stir, add salt.
Yeah. We have plates somewhere, don't we? Right here. Are these the ones to use? We're talking to the gaffer. Yeah, we have a gaffer. These are easier to do than meatballs because they stay together.
A little bit longer to cook than meatballs.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is quality stuff. I mean, it was worth the trip, don't you think?
Yeah, the jet lag.
Yeah.
Camel bit me.
Never turn your back on a camel. No.
They have a big memory,
No, those are elephants.
No, so do camels.
Camels can think. Yeah. Do they?
I read this book once. It was Patricia Cornwell, and she wrote about animals and how mistreated animals got back to somebody. And one was a story of a camel, and the guy used to beat the camel and finally sold him. 3 years later, they are in the Medina marketplace.
Yes.
And the camel sees the guy, and he goes up and kicks him and bites him in the
Yeah.
buttocks.
Buttocks.
Imagine that?
Yeah.
So don't cross a camel.
No, I won't. They're actually one of my favorite animals. I don't know why. I just think camels are great.
They're weird looking, but they're fun.
They are. Well, you know why they look like that? They were designed by a committee. Yeah, true. For those of you folks that would like vegetarian, just leave the chicken out.
I'm going to make a little salad with carrots and mint. Ooh, very Moroccan. See what I'm doing here? See this?
I see you.
Shaved carrot salad.
Don't you throw the outside part away?
No, I washed and scrubbed them.
Well, okay.
And much of the nutrient of a carrot is in the skin.
There you go. We want nutritious meals.
Yes, we're all about that.
You know, it would have been fun is to do this show live from Casablanca.
Camel
Get
feed.
the crew over. Yeah. Would that be good?
Rent a couple of camels.
Yeah. Crispy.
How long do you have to bake those puppies for?
3.5 hours. 20 minutes. 2 medium onions. Get those onions going there. Cinnamon. A spoon or so of cumin. I use cumin sometimes for barbecue sauces, things like that.
Yep.
About a teaspoon of coriander. They got more going in. Ground ginger, not
I know
fresh
that.
grated.
Same thing in the meatballs. They don't use fresh ginger for some reason.
Oftentimes I have ginger in my darkened store meats, ginger beer.
Oh, ginger beer.
Yeah,
That's different.
Same thing, old turmeric. Point is, just as Paul pointed out, they cook with a very interesting group of spices.
Tremendous blend. But a lot of spices. A lot of the dishes
Yeah.
have a lot of spices.
I do. I have sliced some lemon. Some recipes call for the pickled lemons.
Pickled lemons.
Yeah. Put the lemon juice in. Harissa is a a mixture of spices, also like the hasnout. It's spicy. I'm doing the full spice, but if you like it, don't use as much. You can often find this in a regular grocery store. If not, there's always the internet. That's a really authentic Moroccan type of spice. So these are all the vegetables. This is what makes this healthy. 2 cups of chicken broth. You can make your own chicken broth. I didn't. Now we're going to take the chicken, put it back in. Look at that. It's going to fit. I was a little nervous about this. I didn't want to tell anybody till after.
You fouled up.
Yeah, fouled up chicken. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, we're going to put this in the oven. Now, fortunately, it's going to take about 25 minutes in the oven, but Paul has a comedy routine which lasts exactly 25 minutes.
I think we're going to take a break.
ليلى
من الهاتف الداعي؟ قيس أرى؟ عودتني أنت. يا قلت لك أعطيني باتساع ودي أفشع وكاك تكلم مسخة. أيوة ده بحسن. قيس رانا أعطيتك بنتي ليلى هي لك وأنت ليها. شامبوان بالموليف كيخلي الشعر رطب ومعطر. شامبوان بالموليف هو سر كل نجاح.
Well, wouldn't you know it, Paul, my partner, had a task that he had to perform. So he's left the set and left me doing all the dirty work, including I'll end up doing all of the dishes. So I'm going to be here for a long time. But in the meantime, we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to finish up my dish. This has been in for about 25 to 30 minutes. So you want to use a pan that has a handle that can be put in an oven. So here's the finished dish. I wish you could smell it. It is really, really, really nice. I added, just before I put it in, I added some chopped green olives too. Lemons, the oranges, all those spices, the onion, the whole thing. What I'm going to make is some couscous. There's 2 kinds of couscous. There's the Moroccan couscous and the Israeli couscous. They're sort of the same, but they don't interchange. So if your recipe calls for one or the other, use that one. This one is you'll see it's a granulated one. So I'm going to melt some butter. It's my Boston accent coming through, butter. So about 1/2 stick of butter. This recipe has been stolen from Ina Garten. Ina loves to cook with nice, rich food. She's one of my favorite chefs. So she's done a good job on this one. About 3/4 cup of shallots. So all I'm doing is just sauteing them for a couple of minutes, kind of soften them up and bring out the sweetness. A little salt and pepper, the universal spice. Now, if you really want to, you can make your own chicken stock. There's about 75 ingredients to make your own chicken stock, and you really can make it in big quantities, bottle it, put it in your refrigerator. Or you can go get a box of chicken stock, which is what I did. 3 cups. There we go. So this is the couscous. So you can see it's a very fine, kind of granulated, it's pasta. It's really what it is. Now, this dish has a little finishing off to make it look fun. And this morning I toasted them. So they're toasted almonds. This is another thing in Moroccan cooking. And some cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, don't put it on. Or pick around it, you know? So that just makes it look pretty. So now we're bringing the couscous to a boil. And then what we're going to do is dump the couscous in, cover the pot, take it off the heat, and just let it cook itself for 10 minutes, and it will be ready. Fluff it up and be ready to go. Here we go, medium. I'll take care of the propane bill later. Okay, no problem. A watched pot never boils, you know. You just have to, we'll cover it. Maybe that'll help. When I first did a Moroccan dish, when I looked at all the spices and things, it was out of my comfort zone. That one even had some apricots in it and things like that. I said, oh, chicken with apricots and all that. Okay, well, and I said, well, let's just try it. We'll see what happens. And it was really, really good. Hence, when Paul suggested that we do a Moroccan show, I was all for it. A cup and a half. Take it off the heat. In about 10 minutes or so, that'll be just fine. Not to be forgotten, we're going to make with these fantastic lamb meatballs, olives, tomatoes, thin onion. You can put whatever you want on it with some tzatziki. And then also we have the carrots and the mint. And we're going to put a mixture of orange juice and honey. You can put on as many of these things on as you want. You put a couple of meatballs in here. So now it's all up to you what you want to put in. I'm going to use my fingers here. You can put a little onion, if you like that. If you don't like onion, don't put onion in. You can put a couple of tomatoes in there. You can put as many as you want. Some olives. Okay. And then you need a little sauce. Well, that's what the tzatziki is. Now you can make your own tzatziki. Buying it again is a perfectly good way to do it. And that will just make this thing pop. So there you go. Oh, this is smelling so good. So this is what this one looks like. All right, I'll make another one. So this is for me, I'd probably throw 4 meatballs in there. Throw a little of this in. Fun, fresh. And you cannot have it without tzatziki. That's what makes the whole thing. Lamb and tzatziki go very, very well together. All right, here's the other one. So now we have a couple of the pita pocket sandwiches with these lamb. Outstanding. Easy to eat, fun to do. If you put all of this out on the table, everybody does what they want to do, and you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't like that. All right, don't eat it. You know, it's no big deal. Oh, ooh. Gonna fluff this up a bit. Now this is couscous for approximately 18 people. See that? We're not finished with the couscous. Pine nuts. Toasted again. Toasted them this morning. Pignoli. Currants. These are tiny raisins. I don't know where they get them from or whatever, but they're just little tiny raisins. You stir all this in. Piece of chicken here. Sauce over that. Maybe a lemon. This has got all kinds of good stuff in there. Some couscous with it. Now you have it. Chicken tagine with a Mediterranean flavored couscous. When you have something like this, it's always good to have a nice wine. This is a Pine Ridge Chenin Blanc right here. This is courtesy of Ipswich Bottle Shop, and we're grateful for them for helping to support the show and the cook. So I'm going to try this. I think it's going to pair beautifully with all this. We've chilled it properly. Not too overly sweet, not peppery. Remember, we have all these spices we put in, so it's going to work well. We also have to thank and give credit for the use of this kitchen. Bob and Julie have let us use this, and we're so appreciative of that. We'll clean it up this time. We've had some comments last time that we left it in disarray. But we enjoyed doing this, and Paul will be back with us on the next one. Take care, everybody.